Have you ever wondered what hypnosis is? The aim of this short video is to briefly explain what I think hypnosis is, to dispel a few myths and misconceptions. After all, hypnosis has been shrouded in these ever since day dots, and then to give you a few top tips to help you get the most out of your experience. So, what is hypnosis? My current belief, and it changes from day to day, is it is a state of focused attention, a state where you suspend disbelief for a moment. You allow your current experience to become your reality. And you push aside the judging, analysing part of your mind and make some wonderful experiences for yourself. It's about being receptive to suggestions, and it's about realizing ideas based on these suggestions and just observing them with a sense of curiosity, a sense of fun. Now, a wonderful metaphor for hypnosis, for sitting in this chair here, is a cinema analogy. Now, when you go to the cinema, you sit in your seat, you look up at the screen, and you focus your attention for the next 2 hours. You suspend disbelief, so you push aside the judging, analysing part of your mind, and for the 2 hours that the film is on, it becomes real. You forget that there's actors up there, a director, makeup artists, and what have you. This becomes your reality. And you become receptive to the suggestions. So you buy into the plot, you buy into the story, and then you realize ideas based upon that. So, for instance, when it's a horror film and someone jumps out from the curtain with a knife, you jump. If it's a comedy, you laugh. It's a weepy, you cry. And this again is a good metaphor for the way that we do a lot of our problems. Do we have a horror film playing in the background of our mind, or is it a feel-good movie? And in hypnosis, because the mind doesn't know what is real and what is imagined, we can create altered realities. And you see athletes do this all the time. They'll be sitting, particularly in toboggan runs, you might have seen them all together, and they'll be leaning with their eyes closed as they map out that path in their heads. We used to do it with dancing all the time, where the headphones would go on, your eyes would close, and you'd rehearse in your heads. And they've used MRIs and things to be able to see that muscles spark up just to the imagination on a smaller scale of what would actually happen if you were performing those movements in reality. So first of all, I believe that hypnosis is a form of self-hypnosis. And by that, I mean that if we take another metaphor, if we were driving and I was sitting in the passenger seat and you were behind the wheel. So my role in the passenger seat is I have a little map, and I can give suggestions based around that map to help you on your journey. Your role is a very proactive one. You hold the steering wheel and you create movements for yourself. The second one is when I'm given the suggestions from the passenger seat, the role of the driver, of the client, is to follow the instructions, but to do it in a very gentle but assured way. So we have the law of diminishing returns here. So I don't know if you've played a sport, maybe tennis or something like that, and there's days when you've just been in flow. Every ball that you hit just soars over the net. And then there's other times when you try too hard. You think about all the instructions you've been given, you think about how to hit the ball, and the more you try, the worse that shot becomes. While you're in hypnosis, we want to harness the incredible power of your imagination. So when I give you suggestions to imagine things, I want you to imagine that they're real. And as long as you hold on to that reality, you can forget that you're imagining. And then you hold on to that shift in your reality for a moment, and that allows us to create hypnosis. Convince yourself that your reality is changing. Convince yourself in that moment. So for instance, if I was to suggest that your legs were getting heavier, be curious about how your legs are getting heavier and what that heaviness means to you. And as you convince yourself that they're getting heavier, they actually become heavier. It becomes a new reality. And perhaps the most important thing is enjoy yourself. It's a wonderful experience. Don't overanalyze it. Just observe it curiously, and you'll have a really wonderful time.